Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to Business Access TV's coverage of the annual PSOJ JMMB Economic Forum, where we'll be hearing from top financial experts and successful business owners in their field, sharing their knowledge on how to maximize growth in Jamaica. Stay tuned. I'm your host, Amita Prasad Webb.
In the face of the undeniably heroic efforts by successive government administrations over the past 10 years to restructure our macroeconomy and our legislative framework, why hasn't the private sector manifestly and obviously not become the real engine of growth that is required to catapult the country into the hyperspace of meaningful growth that we all so earnestly desire? Is it that we're risk averse? Is it that we are traditionally hidebound? I don't have all the answers, but I'd like us to start thinking in that direction, because what we know is that it cannot be business as usual. Secondly, where are the real growth sectors within Jamaica that we need to exploit in order to release the excess capital that is currently locked into our traditional investment vehicles, earning little or nothing and not contributing to the effective empowerment of the larger sector of our population, which has been marginalized into pursuing underground activities that yield very little taxes, generate very little social good, and feed the negative and oftentimes criminal tendencies of our under-equipped population. If we can keep these questions in mind while we absorb the information and reasoning that we'll be hearing this morning, perhaps we can travel a little further down the road towards unraveling the chains that still bind us, such as the low level of access to credit and financial intermediation. Less than 20% or 22% of Jamaicans have access to credit, just a little higher than Haiti. That is not a good situation, and we need to address our minds to breaking that chain. And also the burdensome bureaucracy and cumbersome tax structures that prohibit the entrepreneurial endeavors, and the belief that Jamaica has no indigenous factor resources that are worth investing in, that agriculture is too much of a risk because of bad weather. The belief and the unconscious prejudice against our music and our culture that compels the practitioners of these arts to take the products abroad or restrict the development of these products to the initiative of foreign entrepreneurs. And finally, the low level of interest in our exotic agricultural flavors and fragrances, our medicinal and herbal compounds, and the culture and history that is locked up in our city centers. We need to think on these things. It is my hope that today will generate not only thought, but action to change the direction of our aspirations and behaviors. On behalf of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, I welcome you to the annual Economic Forum and look forward to a robust and productive morning. Thank you.
It's a PSOJ in partnership with the JMMB for today's Economic Forum. Talk to us about your partnership.
Well, it's an excellent partnership. JMMB is a very creative, very flexible partner, and the PSOJ has benefited over the years with the association. They are a member of the PSOJ, so we welcome it. And this forum in particular is an exciting one for us because it signals a change in the paradigm of how we do business.
What would you say are the main objectives today?
Main objectives today are to speak to the whole question of Jamaica's economic resilience and independence, Now that we appear to be making progress in our debt reduction, we want to look at building a foundation that prevents us from going back into being a debt nation. So that one of the objectives of the forum today is to look at how do we promote local investment with the capital that is tied up in Jamaica, and how do we promote investment in non-traditional areas. So you'll hear the panelists speaking to that.
The Economic Forum is an annual event. Would you say it accomplishes its objectives each and every year? Is it really furthering the discussion?
Well, bear in mind that I have only been president for a year, but the reports I have been very good about the Economic Forum. And if this one is to judge by, you can see the attendance is very good, the level of participation is very good, and the excitement levels that are being generated are very high.
It is great that we are gathered here today to consider economic resilience. It means that we're concerned with the performance of the economy under a variety of circumstances. And it means that we want to ensure that under a multiplicity of possible outcomes, the Jamaican economy is likely to be such that our standards of living is maintained. I do believe, and you have heard me say before, that the primary mission of our time is to secure for Jamaica and to achieve for Jamaica economic independence, which is economic resilience under a variety of circumstances. Previous generations would have worked hard, and we benefit from their achievement of political independence. And it is our job to ensure that for this generation and for future generations, Jamaica has the means to secure for itself and for its people from our own resources under a variety of circumstances going forward. And as Minister of Finance, I am squarely focused on this objective. But it's not an easy mission. If it were an easy mission, it would have happened already. Jamaica is a small, open economy. Trade accounts for 80% of GDP. And as a result, the proverbial butterfly flapping its wings in Southeast Asia has a ripple effect on Jamaica. We have practical examples today of sanctions against Russia threatening operations of Windalco, which happens to be accounts for 25% of our bauxite and alumina earnings. We have seen where sanctions against Venezuela threaten us in the energy sector. And we have seen where commodity price movements on the account of wars and rumors of wars affect life here in Jamaica. So how do we build economic resilience in the face of this reality? How do we strive for and achieve economic independence? Well, one of the key distinctions, or the things that separate developing from developed countries, is the absence of strong institutions. And surely the way to build economic resilience and to achieve economic independence is to ensure that we have strong and durable, impervious institutions. And as Minister of Finance, that is exactly what I have set out to do, to catalyze the emergence of strong and independent institutions that can safeguard our economic future. For the majority of my lifetime, and Howard would like me to say for the majority of his as well, Jamaica has been in a program relationship with the IMF. Now, don't get me wrong, the IMF has always come to Jamaica's assistance in times of need, and for that we are grateful. But we cannot be proud of the fact that for the majority of our independent years, we have had to depend on the resources of the international community as represented by the IMF. And you know, the IMF doesn't emerge and we don't enter into a program relationship with the IMF when our roads are bad or when there is a problem in crime or when the pharmaceutical supplies at the hospital are in short supply. Each and every engagement we have had with the IMF over the last 55 years has come about when our reserves at the Bank of Jamaica have gone too low. And that is why reforms to strengthen our central bank are so important and are so key to the task of economic resilience and economic independence. Later this year, we'll be tabling legislation to clarify the monetary policy goals of the central bank to be focused on price stability, to improve the transparency around monetary policy decision making, and so that information will be available for businesses and for individuals as they make their own choices. The reforms will improve the accountability of the central bank, pivoting the accountability relationship away from the Minister of Finance exclusively and towards the people of Jamaica through the Parliament. It will improve the governance of the central bank and diffuse decision making, and it will provide for the independence in monetary policy decision making, as well as strengthening the balance sheet of the central bank to give it the capital base to ensure that the policies that are being pursued can be done so effectively. You see, a prerequisite of economic resilience is external sustainability. A prerequisite of economic independence is to have the assurance for all businesses and all individuals to have the assurance that Jamaica can meet its external obligations as those external obligations come due. And what are our external obligations? Well, external obligations are interest payments that you have to make overseas, whether you are a private company, an individual, or you're a government. It consists of foreign payables that have to be paid by the government and by the private sector, dividends, and other flows. And at any point in time, you can measure the liability space that we have by looking at the external obligations of the private sector and of the government. And economic resilience must rest on a foundation that external sustainability is assured. And that is the principal reason for embarking upon the modernization of the central bank that we are going to do starting in October.
We go to a break, but please stay with us. More after this.
Taking the pain out of the audit preparation. Doggin Global now offers audit management services, AMS. With AMS, Doggin Global team manages your external audit process by providing the following. 1. Prepare and review schedules for your external auditors. 2. Prepare responses to your external audit team queries. 3. Assign our team members to locate supporting documents during field work. 4. Draft financial statements in accordance with IFRS to supply to your external auditors. 5. Provide guidance to your internal accounting staff regarding classification and recording of transactions. 6. Review your general ledger for accuracy. 7. Prepare necessary journal entries. 8. Prepare fixed asset register. 9. Prepare accounting and operational manual for effective internal control. 10. Liaise with the company external auditors. We work with your team to achieve timely and effective external audits, resulting in timely completion of your audited financial statement, while your current staff focuses on their daily activities. Contact us, info@doggin.global, website doggin.global.
Hey guys, I'm Candy and welcome to Chill Spot, Jamaica's ultimate leisure show. This season promises to reveal some of the hidden treasures of the lifestyle industry by taking you to the chill spots of some of Jamaica's most brilliant business minds, giving you a glimpse into how they choose to unwind and just pull a vibe. You won't want to miss what happens next. Stay tuned.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Let's go straight to stage to our presenter.
It's one thing to identify problems. It's a whole other thing to actually form the teams around resolving them and having the execution capability to get things done. And I think that there's some structures that have been set up here in Jamaica that are probably better than in many other places. But I would definitely look to see how you could enhance that so you could get more meaningful results in addressing some of these barriers. Because the future of your country is based on it. And no amount of directing people to invest in one industry or one opportunity or the other is going to make the difference. No big project, bring the Chinese and do this, bring people from other countries and do that, get the private sector to invest in agriculture. No amount of this directing is going to make the difference, like freeing up all of the actors to make smart investment decisions easily and understand the rules of the game and find human capital to support their investments. That's where the emphasis and focus really needs to be paid. I think that keeping pace with this rapid change is going to require a fresh approach and a different organizational model to the organizational models and approaches that we've had in the past. I think we have to have a fresh way of thinking of how we attract, motivate, unleash, and retain people in our organizations. There's unparalleled changes taking place in the world today, really driven by technology and technological advances that now allow for the speed of communication to be increased and for the processing speeds of computers to take on complex calculations. The cost of storage of data has come down considerably, and all of this is coming together to create this interesting opportunity where we are more interconnected in ways that we've never ever been and never dreamt of before. And there are industries that are emerging with Uber, Airbnb, Facebook, Google, Amazon, these wonderful companies that are doing things globally at a scale and at a pace that we've never seen before. Simultaneous with that, we see that there's a lot of impact that we people are having on the planet. And all of this is coming together in this, great age of acceleration in which, we have to figure out how we respond. In fact, this rate of change has probably gotten to be so fast that our ability to adapt as humans is being significantly challenged, and we can see it in some of the disconnects with Uber moving into countries and regulation, not being able to catch up and keep up with what they want to do. While all of this is taking place on a global scale, we see that here in the Caribbean, we are still, struggling with some of the basics around corruption, around economic growth, strangled by debt, not able to invest in some of the basic things that we need to invest in. And while Jamaica, I think, is a bright spot, having come through this last IMF program and implemented a lot of fiscal discipline, and its economic measures are trending in the right direction. What we think is that you're going to need a fresh approach to how businesses and people look to, I would say, not more than survive, look to be able to operate in this new emerging environment.
We take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We still have more when we return.
We have grown from 20 million US to now having 800 million US dollars.
Knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Those are my tools and my armor.
It's a big men don't cry, right? It's a big men don't cry, right?
We were being robbed some $531,000.
I've been angry to the point where I feel like I would get it, baby.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.
Thanks for staying with us. If you are just tuning in, we're here at the annual PSOJ JMMB Economic Forum. Please stay tuned for more highlights.
To talk a little bit about the business environment. Whether we use doing business or the global economic competitiveness index, I mean, the trends are the same. And what we see there is that Jamaica's not doing that badly. I mean, Jamaica's on top of the Caribbean, fifth, in the Latin America region, first in the starting business, not first, but in the top 5 of starting a business, which is great. But then the question is, what does the business do after it has been registered? And this is where the rubber hits the road. And I said Jamaica's not that bad, in terms of the ranking, but when you look across the indicators, you see that there's huge variability, between the top 5 and going down to 130 among 190 economists on trading across borders. And there are, what we have been doing in other countries in Jamaica, the good thing again in Jamaica is, similar to the good setup of the Economic Growth Council, there is a Competitiveness Council, and they are working with our expert on business environment. They have already identified, what are the bottlenecks, what are the needs, what are the things that need to be done, and trust me, there are low-hanging fruits in revamping some regulations of permits, inspections, etc. There are also longer term or medium term, using all of the digital economy, the e-filing, and all sorts of digital platforms, which is longer term, requires investment. But there is a roadmap, and now, as Mr. Warner was saying, things are known, issues are identified in both disaster risk financing and mitigation, and in improving the business environment. Now the thing is, execution, and really make those things happen.
That is our biggest challenge. What we are now seeing, and I'm very happy that Dr. Clark is here, because he has really been really promoting some of the key changes that need to be made on the technocratic front. This issue of the Bank of Jamaica's independence is absolutely critical. Why is it so critical? Between 1963 and 1993, 62% of the increase in money supply in Jamaica was attributable to the Bank of Jamaica lending money to the government of Jamaica. Lending money that it does not have, because the Bank of Jamaica has no money. All right? The only money that exists in Jamaica is the money that we have in our private capacity. The reason the government has any money is because they take it from us in taxes. All right? So when the Bank of Jamaica lends money to the government, it's lending money that it has created out of thin air. That is inherently inflationary. And that is what dominated our economic instability from 1963 to 1993. After 1993, we started to have some controls on Bank of Jamaica credit to the public sector, but we didn't solve our fiscal problems because for the 2 years from 1993 to 2013, that 20-year period, we borrowed excessively on international capital markets. Thus that by 2013, as again our keynote speaker pointed out, we had one of the highest debt to GDP levels in the region. So we have a couple of things that we have to accomplish. We need independence of the Bank of Jamaica so it never again reverts to what it does in 63 to 93. But we also need independence on the fiscal front to ensure that the government doesn't borrow excessively when it doesn't have access to Bank of Jamaica resources. Again, both of those are technocratic interventions so that at the Ministry of Finance you have a technocratic team that has the capacity to understand exactly how we need to function. But then you also need the partnerships and the social capital to put the government in a position where it is not excessively borrowing because it is managing its fiscal affairs, because there's so much accountability at the level of the broader society. All of us the government has to be held accountable on that front. So it's not a conceptual challenge, colleagues. It's an execution and an implementation challenge.
Another year of partnership with the PSOJ as far as JMMB is concerned. And one of the things we like about being a part of the forum is that it supports a conversation. So what you have is a room filled with some of the brightest minds in Jamaica, top executives, top academics coming together to talk about what's best for the Jamaican economy. And so what we expect from today is no different from the years past. Obviously, things would have changed. We're going through a time of exchange rate devaluation of the Jamaican dollar, concerns about the exchange rate, concerns about inflation. Are we measuring the right things? And so we believe that what's going to happen here today is going to bring a lot of that out and really get into solution mode about what we need to do as a country to get us where we need to go.
Let's talk a little bit about JMMB. You're here today with in partnership with the PSOJ. What's next?
Well, for JMMB, we have always been an organization that has been a little bit different. As a financial services entity, we're not your typical bank or investment house. Based on the vision of our co-founders, we have always been about focusing on our clients and focusing on what's best for the community and for Jamaica. And that's what drives our decisions, it drives our strategy. And so that drove the decision to be a part of this partnership. So it's not just about, providing financial services for people and we collect a fee. Really, it is about supporting them in achieving their dreams and being a part of an ongoing process of solution development that will ultimately be to the benefit of Jamaica and everyone who lives here.
And that brings us to the end of our coverage of the annual PSOJ JMMB Economic Forum. I've been your host, Amita Prasad-Webb, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business. Your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
It's Friday and you're just in time for another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. The pages today are loaded with information. You will learn about various non-conventional teaching methods for students with special needs and get lost in a lively discussion on corporal punishment. Don't you dare move a muscle. I'm Sandra Johnson and I'll be back before you know it.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Friday, February 28. Sectors in the services industry recorded strong growth levels in the last quarter of 2019. This is outlined in the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ's review of economic performance for the October to December 2019 period. PIOJ's Director General, Dr. Wayne Henry, says hotels and restaurants recorded the highest growth of 3.5%, followed by finance and insurance services at 3.4% and electricity and water supply at 2.7%. Other service industry subsectors recording growth were transport, storage and communication, real estate, renting and business services, wholesale and retail trade, repair and installation of machinery, and producers of government services. Meanwhile, agriculture, forestry, and fishing was the high performer under the goods-producing industry with growth of 3%.
This performance was supported by an increase of 4.2% in the area of the domestic crops reaped. The crop group vegetables accounted for the largest share of domestic crops reaped, that was 36.2%, and recorded a 2.9% increase in output. Total hectares under vegetable production increased by 0.3%.
Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, broke ground recently for the rehabilitation of the Hopewell Market in Hanover. The $20 million work will be done over a 4-month period. The existing facility will be reinforced, expanded, and get a new roof, in addition to sanitary facilities and the installation of plumbing and electrical fixtures. The project also includes plans for a parking lot to facilitate vendors who operate from motor vehicles. Minister McKenzie says the project reaffirms government's commitment to the improvement of market infrastructure across the island.
Markets are critical to the country's economic survival. Many outstanding Jamaicans and many normal, ordinary Jamaicans, parents, operate out of markets. Many ride the trucks into Kingston to come to Coronation Market, sleep in the back of the truck, sleep on stalls, just to ensure that they are able to provide for their families.
Mayor of Lucy, Councillor Sheridan Samuels, welcomed the project.
The refurbished market will not only alleviate the challenges of illegal vending on the street and blocking of the roads, but it will also improve the shopping experience of residents in the Hopewell space.
Minister McKenzie says every effort will be made to facilitate vendors while construction is underway. Government has received a donation of heavy-duty equipment to boost local disaster relief capacity. The donation comes from the United States Embassy in Kingston and the Department of Defense, U.S. Southern Command. The equipment were presented to local government minister Desmond McKenzie on Monday. They include a 195 horsepower Case 712 F-Series front-end scoop loader and a Bobcat skid loader. Both are valued at over $250,000 and can be used for debris removal and clearing roads, among other things. Minister McKenzie says the donation is timely as it comes ahead of the next hurricane season, which runs from June 1 to November 30. Minister with Oversight for Education Carl Samuda says the $5 billion increase in his ministry's budget for the 2020-2021 fiscal year will support plans to significantly raise the standards of schools across the island. The increase over the current budget, which expires on March 31, is outlined in the estimates of expenditure now before Parliament. Minister Samuda says particular focus will be placed on ensuring schools are properly equipped with furniture and other supplies and infrastructure.
No school, no classroom must have a desk designed for 2, having 3 students at that desk. None. No classroom, no school should be devoid of proper sanitation. We want to raise the standard of our schools, no matter how small, no matter how large. We need to put our children in a learning environment that is conducive to enabling them to maximize their potential.
Mr. Samuda was addressing a recent consultation session for the Ministry of Education Region 4 held at the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. And finally, a trauma management team from the Ministry of Education's Region 4 office will be visiting the Rhodes Hall High School in Hanover on Monday, March 2, to provide grief counseling support to students and staff affected by the killing of a bus driver on the school compound Tuesday afternoon. Special support will be provided to the students who were transported by the bus driver. The ministry says the initial trauma management team that was mobilized was unable to gain access to the school compound as it was being treated as an active crime scene. Reports are that at approximately 12:40 p.m., 2 men on a motorbike gained access to the school compound and shot and killed bus driver Rayon McKenzie. The 31-year-old was contracted by the school to provide transportation services to students on PATH under the ministry's Rural School Bus program. Mr. McKenzie reportedly died on the compound after he was shot several times by the gunman. No other person was injured during the gun attack. In response, Minister with responsibility for the education portfolio, Carl Samuda, has reinforced the ministry's commitment to revisit all security arrangements and to do all that is humanly possible to ensure the security and safety of school personnel, especially children. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
Corporal punishment continues to be quite a debatable issue in our society. The act of causing physical harm and discomfort to a child as a form of discipline has been condemned by numerous stakeholders and members of government. Instead, the use of positive discipline has been encouraged as a reasonable alternative. Check out this recent dinner conversation on the issue.
A lot of us grew up on the scripture, spare the rod and spoil the child. So if you speak to a lot of Jamaicans, we will probably tell you that corporal punishment is just a way of life. It's a rites of passage. It is something we're accustomed to. And what doesn't kill you makes you. Now, I stand here extremely lucky and extremely blessed to have been raised in a family with my grandmother and my mother. And my grandmother believed in the power of reasoning, the power of communicating, the power of understanding and working out differences. So I never experienced corporal punishment. And now that I stand as a mother of a rambunctious 7-year-old who I swear is going on 70, I implement the same things that my grandmother taught me. So I reason with her. I talk it out. Do you think that makes sense? But there are people who will tell you this doesn't work if you are a frustrated single parent. And this may not work if you come from an inner city. Well, we're here to have that conversation. Welcome to the Office of the Children's Advocates Dinner and Conversation Series.
The Office of the Children's Advocate, in association with UNICEF Jamaica, has successfully hosted its 3rd OCA Dinner and Conversation Series at the Terra Nova Hotel in Kingston.
What is this Dinner and Conversations all about? So, of course, the Office of the Children's Advocate, as most of you know, is the Commission of Parliament that is charged with the responsibility to safeguard the rights and promote the best interests of children in Jamaica in all settings. One of the things that I think is very important to do is to see how we can have facilitated discussions and get actions through very different means. How can we have stakeholders who may never ever really be in the same room at the same time gather together, fellowship over a meal, get some information based on whatever research is out there or information on a particular topic that's relevant to our children, and then give their input based on what their experiences are in their various communities and their organizations.
This year's staging of the event saw numerous stakeholders rising to the podium to share important facts on the topic and to impart valuable recommendations.
At UNICEF, we believe there is nothing more important or valuable than to protect and safeguard every child. And that means protecting every child from violence, be it sexual, emotional, psychological, or physical. We are particularly disturbed by the most common forms of violence experienced by Jamaican children, which is violent discipline. 8 out of 10 Jamaican children under age 15 are subjected to violent discipline at home. The term violent discipline includes physical aggression, like hitting or beating, as well as psychological aggression, like shouting or humiliating or calling names.
We want all our stakeholders, our teachers, our teaching associations, the clergy, the society, the private sector. We want all our partners. We want every single citizen to say enough is enough. Let us find better ways to reach out to our children. Whether we're going to give them time out, take away their privileges, whether we're going to speak to them about the consequences of their actions. And we must also always reward good behavior. Let them know that, yes, this is good. Praise them, acknowledge them. I'm proud of you, I love you, you did good. That is the correct way to do it. Let us employ these new strategies, and I promise you, it will be a new dawn in a more peaceful and loving Jamaica.
The bulk of information was presented by lead discussant for the event, Professor Joan Durant, a child clinical psychologist and professor of community health services at the University of Manitoba in Canada.
I thought we should start by figuring out just what corporal punishment is and getting a definition, because we all have different pictures in our minds of what this means. Basically, simply put, it's the administration of punishment to a child's body, and the intent is to cause pain or discomfort. What do parents really want to accomplish? What do they think they're doing when they're hitting their children? Well, one of the major goals that parents have is to teach their children right from wrong. So they want to raise children who treat other people fairly, who are kind and empathic. Usually, right, we don't want our children to be violent. We want them to be kind and good people. We want them to be able to resist temptation, and we want them to be able to make the right decision when we're not there. Out of all the 13 studies that have been conducted on this, all of them show that children who are hit have weaker, poorer relationships with their parents. And what this means is lower levels of trust, higher levels of avoidance. Even the little slaps that nobody thinks anything of when they're toddlers, don't touch that, has a profound effect. Those children start backing away from their parents and they stop exploring their environment. That impairs their cognitive development, and even more importantly, it impairs the relationship, the trust, the attachment. Because of all of this, countries are increasingly recognizing that corporal punishment is a serious public health issue. It's creating real problems in our societies. The level of violence here is correlated with the level of violence in homes, and it is all over the world. When you look at the relationship between the level of corporal punishment and dating violence across countries, really strong correlation. The relationship between corporal punishment and murder, high correlation. It's just simply a training ground. And so what skills do we want them to have? the skills to coerce, control, and hurt, or the skills to solve problems, to resolve conflicts, and to reason.
For the better.
The Licensed Center of Excellence in St. Thomas is one of 10 such institutions across the island that caters to the unique needs of children with special needs. The school's curriculum was designed to develop the skills of students in areas such as literacy, numeracy, agriculture, welding, and home economics. Watch this.
The Licensed Center of Excellence caters to students post-primary 13 years and up who have been assessed and who have been diagnosed to be on the intellectually disabled spectrum. That means they're either mild to moderate. The Digital Foundation was kind enough to give us this wonderful school so St. Thomas can cater more to these children who need special attention. This institution opened its doors September 2017. We have a wonderful team here. We have teachers who love children. We have an administrative and an ancillary staff who loves children. Most naturally, the campus coordinator loves children. So we are here catering to the needs of these children because we believe in adding value. These children have a lot to offer, but you can only unearth it with patience, with love, and with care. Because if they don't trust you, you can't win them. And so, we want these children to be independent. We want them to contribute to their families, to their communities, and the society at large. And so we're preparing them for the working world. So at the Licensed Center of Excellence, we are skill-based. There is room for improvement, and we welcome the hands to share so that we can care more. We offer theater arts. Yes, the children can do a little. We communication. We do math, but not the math you know of trigonometry. No, we are teaching them how to balance their books, so they know a lot of measurement and of course money. We offer to them home economics, food preparation, and a little clothing and textile. As you walk around our lovely campus, it's green vegetation. So we do a little bit of agriculture and we're able to give to our kitchen, and the children can get to take home. Of course, at a cost, because we're teaching them that everything comes with a cost, because we need money to do other things. My students are interesting and we listen to them. One boy said to me, "Miss, me no want the way you do the school and I'm want to fill your block." And so I went out into the wider community and we're actually teaching our students how to lay blocks, and they're enjoying it. In special, a lot of emphasis is placed on life skills. And life skills is taught in all the subject areas with extra emphasis coming from the guidance departments. So of course, Licensed Center of Excellence is the place to be.
My classroom is a corporate space. I facilitate learning. My students learn from each other. They help each other during the learning process. Enabling them, I make certain that I encourage them that there's nothing that they cannot do. And the motivation that they get from being a part of my classroom, the fact that we differentiate learning too in there and tiered activities are used, it makes no child feel left out.
What I love about the License Center of Excellence, it's a level playing field. We exclude no one. So all activities, if it means you're to get assistance, be it from a classmate, a teacher, or from an ancillary worker, you're going to get the assistance because we believe in excellence. Excellence for all.
The Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts is the only school of its kind on the island. Art is the language used by instructors to unleash the innate creativity and academic excellence of all their students, whatever their various learning needs.
There's a sort of purposeful selection of the sequence in these human movements. The symbolic significance of hands massaging the air and feet beating to the vibrations of songs. They're focused, energized, ready, and raring to go. If you think about it, they are just like you and I. Well, of course, that's if you can dance. But one thing might be different.
I've been there for 23 years, and I've been dancing for 10 years. I've been there for 21 years, and I've been dancing for 14 years. So I've been hard of hearing ever since I was born until now, and I've been dancing for 16 years.
Yes, persons like Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani dance. And despite nature's act of removing a seemingly valuable aspect of their senses, these three are pursuing a certificate in dance at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, but not without some challenges.
Well, my experience here, at first, when the three of us just arrived, we were a bit awkward in terms of communicating, but then we were able to learn from each other, learning from the hearing students, and we were able to, we had issues as well with the rhythm, keeping up with the rhythm at all times, but then we were eventually able to catch up and we started to improve gradually. So for me, my main issue is timing. So I try to work along closely with the other students in the class and the teacher as well, and then eventually I'm able to catch up with the timing in terms of the music. So my challenge during class, it's really to ensure that my body is moving with the timing and the music.
Deaf dancers do move on the beat and in one accord with the rhythm, but the surprising element in this for most persons is just how are they able to, or even why did they choose dance?
I hear a little of the music and I can feel the vibration on the floor as well. So it's not that bad for me. So I use that method throughout.
With his sense of touch heightened through his loss of hearing, Damani can interpret the music through the vibrations he feels. Deaf dancers are visual learners, so for them, their instructors sign the moves or the counts. While other dancers are busy remembering the details of the moves, those like Damani, Kimberly, and Christoph are counting, keeping time, and watching keenly what their hearing peers are doing so they can interpret the steps.
So I chose to study dancing because dancing is my life. It's my passion ever since. So I want to learn more and more about dancing. I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I want to continue. Because my goal is to become a dancer in the future. So when I'm finished at Edna Manley College, I want to become a dancer, and I want to perform around the world. So my goal is to become a dance teacher so that I can empower young girls of dancing and empower them so that they can, be as good as I am. It's their turn.
But for acting dean at the School of Dance, being deaf is not the biggest obstacle for becoming a great dancer.
I don't want to describe what we have as challenges. I want to describe them as opportunities to learn. What fundamental to dance is the ability to demonstrate and for the dancer to use their eyes and observe and learn the experience in a visual way and then demonstrate what it is that they have been taught. I think one of the interesting things about the deaf students is that their other senses are heightened, and so they're able to access the information in other ways and quite differently from the hearing students. So it's very interesting to see the learning dynamics, but the end result and the objective or the learning outcome of the experience are still achieved. And we're very happy about that because ultimately we want them to succeed.
And while for the school it is the first time opening its gates to persons like Christoph, Kimberly and Demani to study dance,
they're eager to receive the information and we're inspired by this drive to learn and to succeed. So even though we have an interpreter, the interpreter is also learning from the experience because we have interpreters who have never been in a school environment like this where dance is concerned, so they're also learning new language. It somehow feels as though they've brought more to us.
For many of the deaf community, the fear of fitting in lingers. But for Christoph, Kimberly and Demani, dancing is passion-driven and determination-ruled.
Well, I hope that what we've done here at the Edna Manley College in terms of opening our doors to 3 deaf students will encourage others and inspire them to go after their dreams.
So I remember in high school, there was a quote that says, "I believe I can achieve." I go by that. So in the Bible, it talks about, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." I believe I can achieve.
Jamaica's first fort in Port Royal, Fort Charles, has received a well-needed facelift. The 500-year-old heritage site has been refurbished by the Port Authority of Jamaica and other government agencies and is now open to the public. New features have been added, such as an officer's quarters, a ticket booth, a souvenir and merchandise shop. There is also a new Giddy House exhibit building, right next to the original Giddy House that was built in 1888. These renovations are just some of the steps being taken by our government to transform the historic town of Port Royal into a thriving center for tourism. So what are you waiting on? Book your visit today and enjoy the new offerings of the site that is helping to make Jamaica a more attractive place for persons to visit. Yes, but more importantly, to live, work, raise their families, and do business. And just like that, it's time to close out today's magazine. Thanks so much for browsing the pages. We do hope you enjoy the show while learning pertinent information about government's programs and initiatives. As you go, feel free to visit our website, jis.gov.jm, for our daily news story, Forget, or YouTube channel. I'm Sandra Johnson. Have a fantastic weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious
about business.
Serious about business.
I'd just like to welcome everybody today, and I'm sure that you'll agree that this is a perfect way to start the new year. Opening this impressive building where we now have two extraordinary companies located. Concentrix, our anchor client, and one of the largest BPO operators, and the other tenant is Jamaica's own Unique Vacations, and they're doing all the customer service and reservations for the Sandals resorts that are located throughout the Caribbean. It's phenomenal to host these two companies and such an honor for the Free Zone. And we want to thank them for their confidence of locating here. There have been many detractors of the industry out there, making uninformed and negative statements about working conditions. And this is why we're so fortunate to have a Prime Minister that is pro-business, pro-growth, and sees clearly the incredible value that BPO brings to the Jamaican economy. And the industry's ability to provide jobs at an unrivaled rate. And without these work opportunities, many of these people that are employed here would join a generation of lost and unemployable people. So for those of you too young to know or too old to remember, or if you're not from Montego Bay, I'd like to give you a little history. While we're sitting here now, was not long ago a pasture. And a little further in that direction, where the BNS and Fontana and the cinema are located, was a cane piece. In 2002, I was serving on the board of JAMPRO, and then the portfolio minister was Philip Paulwell, and he was bringing some BPO investors down here. I don't know if Conrad was yet at JAMPRO, but he was bringing some investors to establish a BPO operation by helicopter. And he asked me to meet him in this very spot, which was a pasture. And I got here 15 minutes before the helicopter arrived, and I couldn't believe the amount of cows in this very spot. So when the helicopter came, of course, the cows went crazy, stampeded, and the investors came off the helicopter very shocked. And unfortunately, we didn't get that investment. That same minister, in what was called youthful exuberance, promised the country 40,000 jobs within 3 years. And guess what? It's taken us 15 years, but we are on the cusp to surpass that 40,000 jobs. And in this Free Zone alone, with this building, we passed the 10,000 employment of the Free Zone alone. An incredible milestone. Our Prime Minister, who from day one has not only declared BPO as his primary growth strategy, but has walked the walk by making investments in building BPO space that ensures that we're ready for business and that the growth is real. In this industry, if you don't have space and infrastructure to offer clients, they will simply move their investment plans elsewhere. So today, to be at the same spot in this old pasture where we recently visited our Prime Minister with his shovel, breaking ground for what we now see behind us, makes this an incredible day and one we can all be proud of. This building will provide a living for over 2,000 families for years to come and provide foreign exchange earnings that we all desperately need to support the economic recovery that Jamaica was promised for so long, and we're finally seeing for the first time in most of our lives. I want to thank you, Prime Minister, and your team of hard-working ministers for your advocacy and your determination in having the free zone succeed. And of course, the PAJ staff and under the leadership of Gordon Shirley and Gloria Henry, who forms part of that through the Montego Bay Free Zone, and the respective boards of directors. I see that entire row in the front there is our Free Zone Board of Directors, and we have Port Authority directors here, and former Port Authority Free Zone chairman here, and my father is here, and so many others. And I have to acknowledge my wife and my mother, or else I'll be really in trouble. So protocols have been observed, and I don't want to list everybody, but there are probably several people I've missed, and the mayor. But I would like to thank you all and just say that being here today is a very, very special moment, and as I said, a great way that I'm starting my year, and I hope you feel the same way. Welcome and thank you.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
It really is a pleasure for PAJ to be a partner in the development of your great city, Mr. Mayor. This is the fastest growing municipal center in Jamaica and probably in the Caribbean, actually. Aside from our investments here, which I'll speak about in a moment, I wanted to signal that we are also investors in a neighboring Freeport terminal. This is one of the, it's a significant investment for Port Authority, and because it is such a secret, allow me for just 1 second to tell you a little bit about what we have been doing over in Freeport. Over the past 2 years, we have renovated the main cruise terminal at berth 5 and 6 and constructed a new one at berth 2 to accommodate the expansion of home porting. We have also developed new ground transport management facilities over there. And as a result, Montego Bay is now the fastest growing cruise terminal in the country. We have facilitated the construction of Fortress's new LNG facility, and we have dredged the harbor to accommodate even larger cruise ships and cargo facilities. Currently, we are constructing a new cargo at berth 1, a new cargo facility at berth 1. We are expanding berth 2 to accommodate the largest cruise vessels. We are investing in new cargo handling equipment, reach stackers, terminal trucks, and so on. We are implementing a new automated terminal operating system and implementing a new port community system. Over $35 million is being spent in the neighboring facility, which is intended to transform that facility into the most dynamic and significant mixed terminal anywhere in the Caribbean. And as important as it is for us to be developing in those facilities, a mandate of the Port Authority is to develop the near port areas in immediate proximity of our terminals with a view to creating economic growth and job creation. And the most dynamic near-port facility that we have is the Montego Bay Freeport. The Board of Montego Bay Free Zone and the Board of Port Authority were early in recognizing the growth in markets such as analytics and market research, engineering design, medical transcription, health information management, financial and legal process outsourcing, publishing, and outsourcing of R&D. Our objective is to capitalize on the growth of this knowledge process outsourcing segment and to transform the zone in a manner that makes it attractive for firms to want to perform these types of services here in Jamaica and here in the Montego Bay Free Zone. This effort is already bearing success. Examples of this include the fact that Numerator, one of the clients here, is providing market intelligence and complex CRM services. Software development for desktop and mobile applications is being provided by Avonmark. Shared services in finance and accounting is being provided by Advanced Call Center Technology and Conduent. Medical transcription is being provided by Infinity Behavioral Health Services. Data analytics by Numerator. Payroll processing, corporate filings, and corporate support by Conduent. And market campaign, advertising, and promotion by Centerfield Media. The investment of approximately $10 million in this new 63,000 square foot facility, which is being opened today, is a reflection of the commitment to creating the kinds of facility suitable for accommodating the companies that wish to perform these higher value added services here in Jamaica. It is designed with the employees in mind and with all the necessary amenities and features of the best BPO centers anywhere in the globe. With this new facility, an additional 1,500 to 2,000 jobs, as Mark mentioned, will be accommodated. And the zone is now, we are proud to say that the zone is now home to 10,600 good paying jobs, impacting the lives of our young graduates and their families.
Ladies and gentlemen, a decade and a half ago, I responded to an advertisement looking for a client services manager, and I felt it was Port Authority, so I applied for that job. And I had a choice at the time, two financial institutions, but because I knew Port Authority is the place to work, and it had all that lovely reputation, so I chose to come here. And 1 week into the job, when I realized it was a free zone, I was dying. I was like, oh my God. And I remember going into my office one day and I said, Lord, it's not too late to call in CV. Please give me a direction because I don't know if I can cope with this job. And then to make it worse, I walked out of my office and there was a customer ranting and raging about a problem. And then he said to me, so how long are you planning to be here? And I was like, oh my God, so people don't stay here. So I was really worried, but then I got the divine word and I was divinely led, and here am I. And you know, we were perhaps about 20-something% occupied in our warehousing space and vacant in many of our building spaces. We use car parks to play football and volleyball and netball, and we use empty buildings to store stuff for anybody who wanted to store things, because we had so many spaces. But in 5 years, we were full. We were 100% occupied. And at that time, we advanced a proposal under the chairman of Mr. Dare to put up this building. Well, 9 years later, here we are. But we are here because of the effort, the contribution, the blood, sweat, and tears, the toiling of many, many, many persons. Not just the Port Authority, but the unsung heroes who work in this industry, those who have launched businesses here that have gone global, those whose business have gone and listed on the stock exchange in the US, those who serve Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 customers, those whose work make Jamaica look like the best place, and it is the best place indeed in the world. Those whose work stand out against any first world country. These are the people who work in the BPO centers. They represent diversity. So I know you hear a lot about the call center. But call center is not all that we do. Yes, that's where we started. And you know, you don't want to shake off your history completely. You heard some of the things that Professor articulated earlier that we're doing in this business. And so today we want to invite some of our workers who have been here, who have worked in different segments of the business, to share with you in 2 minutes some of their testimonials.
I have been with Teleperformance since the inception of the company. That's 20 years ago. So yes, I have been with Teleperformance for 20 years. After graduating high school, it was clear I was unable to immediately afford college, and so I made the decision to work. I started as an agent and was promoted to a manager 3 years later. Through my hard work, high display of professionalism, and consistency with effectively managing a team, I was further promoted to an assistant call center manager. I have played multiple roles, lead roles in the organization, such as the lead engagement coordinator, guest speaker at Jump, and I'll talk briefly about what Jump is. So within Teleperformance, we have a program that we develop our agents to become leaders. So the Jump program, so we can basically promote from within. So that's like a synopsis of what the Jump program is. And a motivational speaker to the new hires. I have led multiple charges as it relates to growth and development in the organization. I have mentored several of my peers and has changed the lives of many through my testimonies. I am known to speak the hard truth. With honest persona, there's not a question with the heart for my job. I have significant strides in the career and personal development. I am now a call center manager and with direct oversight of over 500 employees. I have a great deal for passion for excellence. I'm a mother, a wife, and currently a student at the Montego Bay Community College, where I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree in business management. The BPO has provided an avenue not only for creating jobs in the country, but it's also one of the leading income generators of the economy. My role in the BPO industry is critical to the business, as I am given the task of reviewing the root causes, as well as identifying and implement various strategies to improve the program Teleperformance, as well as mitigating any loss for refinancials. My current roles allow me to play a vital role in managing important clients, vendor relationships, etc. I have no regrets in starting my career in the BPO sector. I say to the BPO, and especially my company, Teleperformance, thank you for my personal growth and success to date. And I leave you with my mantra: aspire to be the best on the team, aspire to be the best for the team. Thank you.
I started in the Montego Bay Free Zone at Vistaprint in 2003. So I've been here for 15 years. My career didn't start here, but I can bet you that, and I can tell you that if I have the opportunity, I would stay here. Working at the Free Zone has given me opportunities to experience first world technologies, to manage people, to interact with personalities across the globe, not only in Jamaica. And that is something that I believe every Jamaican needs to experience. I believe every Jamaican, as a matter of fact, should endeavor to be a part of the Montego Bay Free Zone and be a part of the BPO sector, because it opens opportunities, it opens our eyes. I believe that this is something that, if it wasn't here, we would have been lacking in a lot of ways. So thank you very much for being here and for giving us the opportunity to have a job, to make a life for ourselves, and to be the best person that we can be.
Dodge & Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodge & Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA Scholarship Program. This Scholarships Awards Program will be administered by the HR Department of Dodge & Global. Requirement: first degree in accounting. Employed at Dodge & Global. Willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodge & Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
Throughout my 13 years with Teleperformance Alliance One, I have great success stories. I must say, I've started with this company as an agent. Throughout that 13 years, I've grown, moved in different areas such as a QA supervisor, assistant center manager, and currently I hold the position as a contact center manager. Thank you. I've been given various opportunities within Teleperformance. One of the greatest things for me is I have given the opportunity to help to build interaction with employees, to mold employees to be better leaders and upcoming leaders of tomorrow. Within this organization, there are great deeds towards myself in terms of building personal growth and assisting me with my family. Within my 13 years, could I ever think of where do I go from here? It's hard for me to decide. Why? Throughout this 13 years, my confidence, that self-esteem that I've built throughout the year, with support of leaders such as, of course, I will not leave out saying my direct manager, Jake Becker, and other fellow co-workers. Currently, I'm so proud wearing the latest achievement within Teleperformance is I was recently enrolled in Teleperformance University. Now, you may wonder what this is. It's the university created by the company. This exists for the past 10 years. And I'm pleased to say for 8 months ago, I was enrolled in this program. The opportunity that it allows me is I join this college. I get a chance to travel. My last travel was in Brazil. This is a big deal for me. That's 2 months ago I get to go to Brazil. I have an upcoming trip that will be in Philippines. I'm excited about that one as well. And of course, graduation in Greece. These are my dream places to visit, and so I'll say thanks to Teleperformance for that.
My name is Corrine Phillips Brown. I have over 12 years of experience in the BPO industry. I started out as a hard trainee in the accounting department. With my experience gathered in this sector and through self-study, I completed my career as a chartered accountant. I am now a member of the international body of ACCA and also the local body of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica. With my qualification and experience, I am now the finance manager of a 1,900-seat, Fortune 500 BPO company. I was instrumental in starting the accounting operation here in Jamaica. This has seen, because of the success, several other accounting jobs being migrated. In the process, we are planning to expand our shared services division. Some of my tasks as an accountant include financial statement reporting, analysis, and consolidation. My plan is to continue in this sector. I am really passionate about working in the BPO industry. Thank you.
I am the Managing Director for Avantmark Technologies. We were formerly Indusa Global, and we have been in the free zone for the past 2 years. But Indusa has been around for almost 20 years. Now, we are on the ground floor of Data Building 3, right on the same building with Market Track. We have 11 employees. We have 8 programmers, 3 accounting and data entry staff that are responsible for the accounting needs of 2 of our clients. All our employees are Jamaican-born, Jamaican-educated, going to University of UTEC, University of the West Indies, and NCU. Combined, all of our employees, we have over 50 years of programming experience. Though we are a small company, we have developed software applications, both web and mobile, for the health, transport, and the tourism sector for both the US, for clients in the US, as well as in the Caribbean. Currently, we're working on a logistics platform for a large freight brokerage and transportation management company in Colorado. Another project that we're currently working on is building a custom CRM system for that same logistics customer that has already improved the way this logistic client services its customers. These systems all leverage the power of cloud computing, mobile applications, and will eventually use machine learning and artificial intelligence to provide our clients with any advantage that they can in that very competitive market. What makes us different from any other software development firm? It's not that we have the best programmers. We do have some really good ones, but we can hold our own with anyone in the world. It's not that we have the best facilities. We're getting there, though. It's not that we have the best salaries. We're going to get there, though. But what we do is that we have a passion for technology. We embrace modern technology and are not afraid to implement it in solutions where we see that it provides an advantage to our clients. We are agile in our approach to work, so we can adapt quickly to changes. We believe in automation first, so we can free people to focus more on value-added tasks and building stronger customer relations for their employers. And above all, we have the best 11 people that anybody could ask for. Our small team of 11 programmers pulls together like a well-oiled machine. Finally, we don't intend to stay small forever. We may never grow to the size of some of our neighbors due to the sheer nature of our jobs, but we intend to leave a mark on this free zone where we aren't always known by the address relative to our neighbors. So for example, the door across from Unique Vacations, who have now migrated to the east side, or the building that Market Track is on, but by our work and our impact, community and Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly represent Avantmark Technologies. Thank you.
M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition, or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodgen Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
The government of Jamaica has 4 main lines of effort that lead into one main objective. And these are the sound fiscal management and financial management of the public's affairs. The second is to create and support the conditions for private sector-led growth. The third is to create meaningful employment for all Jamaicans, but the broader picture is to ensure that all Jamaicans are involved in work. The fourth is to ensure the security and safety and peace of communities and households within Jamaica. And all of these lead into the ultimate objective of securing Jamaica's economic independence. I believe that if you assess the performance of the government on its lines of effort, you will come to the conclusion that the government can report significant success. For example, there is no question that the government has achieved major success in ensuring the fiscal certainty of our economy. The debt has been reduced from 141% of GDP to this year we will be just below 100% of GDP. And that is the ultimate index. But there are other things that we should measure fiscal performance on. And that is, for example, the government has seen significant investments taking place in the development of infrastructure. But a large part of that does not rely on the government's fiscal accounts. In other words, we have pursued the expansion of infrastructure and capital formation without having to rely on the budget of the government. Now, this is a perfect example. The PAJ, out of its own resources, that is the Port Authority of Jamaica, out of its own resources, have made this investment, and this investment will bring a financial windfall. Maybe windfall is too much, but certainly profit that you can use to reinvest. But the policy of the government is that all its public bodies must stand financially sound and fiscally certain on their own. And all the assets that they have, we must see to their full utilization. So all the warehouses that are empty, all the parking lots that are now volleyball and football fields, all the real estate that are unoccupied and unused, all the lands that are just growing wild bush, we must find appropriate and high value usage for them. And that strategy has worked. And I want to commend the Port Authority of Jamaica in being at the lead in fulfilling that strategy, in ensuring that our port facilities are being developed, in ensuring that our BPO facilities, those that exist, and the new ones that are being developed. And whilst this facility may be the most modern in the Port Authority's portfolio of BPO facilities, I happen to know that the work in Portmore, the Portmore, what is it called? In Informatics Park, the PIP, that will be an ultra-modern facility and will probably eclipse what is being done here. In as much as we are pushing forward to see the development of the infrastructure and supporting capital formation without call on the government budget. I mean, the government has to have some involvement, but where these things are commercial in nature, we believe that it should be the private sector or corporately operated public agencies that do them. But the government must also look at the landscape and look to the horizon, because I've often said that, you know, the ship of state is almost like a submarine. It's under sea. It doesn't always see the big picture or the horizon, and so it has to have a periscope that looks up above the water and can see what is to come. Governments have to analyze future risks. So we are making investments now, but one thing of which we are certain is that conditions will change. They can change for the better, or they can change for the worst. One thing we must ensure is that whatever the change that occurs, Jamaica is in a position to survive and be resilient. That is, be able to recover very quickly from adverse change or take advantage of opportunities that present themselves. And so the government must always be forward-looking. And in that forward-looking stance, the government must say, what are the risks that are on the horizon for our fiscal certainty? What are the risks that could cause the government to have to, for example, put on more taxes on people? What are the risks, for example, that could cause the government to incur more debt? And from now, try to avoid those risks. So our strategy of ensuring that the private sector, along with corporately run public agencies, take on the risks of developing infrastructure and capital formation, that strategy works for the people of Jamaica, because it ensures that at no time will there be a call on you, the public, to pay for any eventualities that may happen, and that paying for means either higher taxes or we have to cut services.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got.
Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
Takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
In its present state, Petrojam is a fiscal risk to the government. The truth is that after the JPS ceases to be its major customer by virtue of a decision that the government made to diversify its fuel mix to include LNG, which is a more stable fuel in terms of its commodity pricing, and probably better in the long run for Jamaica, and a more efficient fuel from an environmental perspective. We took that decision. When we took the decision, we should have also considered the other impacts of that decision, which means that Petrojam could lose or will lose 50% of its custom. That could mean, very well mean, that the operations of Petrojam could become a call on the government. And I use the term government, but I shouldn't, because in the consciousness of Jamaica, the Jamaican people see the government as separate from them, which is not the case. The government is just the accumulation of you. So if it is a call on the government's purse is a collection from your pocket. And that's what it is. It is going to be a call on your pocket. So I am not running a government that is under siege, not knowing what is coming in the future, as we have had governments do in the past. And then we happen upon situations. And those who are being critical of the government now should explain why it is we are happening up on situations that are creating fiscal risks for the government. This government is giving the people of Jamaica the commitment that we will not just manage the situations that exist now, but we are managing the situations to come. And you can be assured that the government I lead will always make decisions in the interest of the Jamaican people first. So you may be wondering, what's the connection? But I hope you see that the strategy of the government in doing all of this is about this line of effort in ensuring that Jamaica's government, meaning the collection of your pockets, is fiscally sound. On the line of effort of creating employment, that the government has done exceptionally well. 1.3 million Jamaicans are employed. That's the highest number since the recorded history of the statistic. Now, that's a commitment we made, and we intend to continue to push for greater employment because I believe we can reach full employment, and we are not far away from it. We recognize that training and education is a constraint on our growth and employment prospects. Kind of ironic, isn't it? But it is the truth. Our education system, its output, our socialization coming from our households, are all impacting on the rate at which we increase our employment. I have here today, of course, the chairman of HEART, Mr. Edward Gabidon, and he knows that I have been breathing down the neck of HEART to put in place an effective strategy of training persons for the BPO industry. I know that they have an effort underway, and it has made an impact. But I'm always concerned when I hear of situations that a BPO enterprise opened just a few doors down, and then the BPO enterprise that was always in existence would come to work on a Monday morning and half its staff is gone over to the next BPO. And then they are in a quandary and a scurry trying to find replacements. We hear those stories and the government takes it seriously. we must rapidly increase our training to support the expansion of the industry. It can't be that we have investors here and we are not supplying very quickly the quality trained workers. We have to get cracking on that in a more aggressive way. And it is not that we don't have the people. You know where they are? Some of them are in lottery scamming. Some of them are in crime. And many of them are at home sitting down doing nothing. And when you go to them, well, me can't leave my baby. Or they hide. Because I've seen the reports. We have gone into communities with programs offering people to be trained, and they refuse to take it. Why? It is clear that the policy of the government can't be just employment. The policy of the government has to be to create a culture of work. So, I want to thank you, because if you let me, I'll go on and on and on. But I want to thank you for being such a good audience and for listening. And again, let me congratulate the PAJ and the team for bringing this project to fruition. I gather now you would be above 10,600 persons employed here, and that the BPO sector in terms of its employment is now in excess of 36,000 persons, in excess of 36,000. I'm certain that before the year is out, we should be close to 40, if not passing it. My view, and I continue to maintain it, is that we could have hundreds of thousands of persons employed in the BPO sector, providing we can release the constraint of the trained labor force and build out the spaces. As it has turned out, it has been easier to build out the spaces than to relieve the constraint of employment. But I give the assurance that we are working on both. God bless you all. Happy New Year. Health, prosperity, happiness, and peace.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Co-Founder, Honeybun 1982 Limited. You're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
This new building brings new opportunity to Montego Bay as a city of which we are in the Caribbean, and we are the fastest developing city in the Caribbean. But this new building will mean thousands of new jobs for young people, not only from St. James, but from adjoining parishes. And wherever job opportunities are created for the multiplier effect. And it is very good for Montego Bay for us to be opening this over 60,000 square foot of space here today. The Montego Bay is known as the hospitality location in the Caribbean. We are more hospitable than any other parts of Jamaica and the Caribbean. The expatriates feel very comfortable, feel very welcome, feel very accommodative when they are here to do business, right? So it is a natural fit for us here in Montego Bay to embrace our expatriates, to embrace our local investors, and to embrace our new workers that are working in this free zone area, which the last count that I had we have probably over 12,000 persons employed in the BPO sector in Montego Bay. And just having a discussion in another 3 to 4 years, it might be up to 15, 16,000. So it is growing. So Montego Bay is the place for BPO. I know it is being branched out in other areas of Jamaica, which I commend that also. But Montego Bay will be the preferred destination because we are the hospitality capital of the Caribbean. We in St. James, we are ahead of the rest because the Artrust NTA, the high schools, the secondary schools are integral. They go into the school and when they have their student awareness as it relates to job opportunities, the BPO sector plays a very, very pivotal role. And I must say to you, this is an era in which is a good start for any young persons. Because to leave school with 2 or 3 CXC subjects, you know that in most cases you can't go into college with that. You can't go to a university with that. But you can enter the BPO sector, earn yourself much more than what you would have been earning if you were sitting down at home, and build your capacity from there. So it is a good start for those who did not achieve the 5, 6, 7 subjects to move on to college and to move on to university. So I would encourage all young people who have acquired 1, 2, 3, 4 subjects and they want to make a start in life to start at the BPO. It is a steady and growing industry. And I know a lot of them that started, and a number of them now are in supervisory position, big supervisory position, taking home working and living salary. So, I mean, I must tell you, you can know when they just started working. You know, they don't look that bouncy, but after 3 months and the hairstyle change, the whole makeup change, the clothing change, and you know that they're making money and they are earning their way to prosperity.
As an iconic building, it demonstrates that we are committed to a world-class type of facility for the services that are offered here. We're also keen on moving upscale from just the normal call center type operations to more knowledge-based operations. And we believe that those jobs will be even more attractive to the graduates from our university system, as well as those that you asked about, which are those who want to work and study. Students in some of these areas, the areas that I've spoken about, law, finance, medicine, and so on, will want to have jobs that relate to the things that they're studying. And the opportunity then to be working here and going to the Western Jamaica campus or the other campuses in the region would be very attractive for them. The manager of the facility, Gloria Henry, is already has collaborations with the community center here. So there are a number of students who are workers here, employees here in the center, but who are pursuing degrees and other programs at the community center. So there is quite a symbiotic relationship between the university system and what we have here, going here at the Montego Bay Free Zone.
BPO is excellent for Montego Bay. Gives a lot of employment, has a lot of people, and is expanding very rapidly. And it will be a big future for the town. And with the bypass road coming next year, makes a huge difference to Montego Bay.
So my name is Deborah Fraser. I'm the CEO for Caribbean HR Solutions. We are an HR outsourcing company. So we support, for the most part, business process outsourcing players who are coming into Jamaica and help them to launch and to find all of their staff, to develop their HR programs, and to keep them in compliance with Jamaican labor laws. So this new building is really very, very impressive. Jamaica has been successful at attracting the top outsourcers globally, and that's responsible for providing really great quality jobs. So companies all over the world are turning to outsourcing their core and non-core activities. And Jamaica has been very, very successful at showing the world that we have bright, talented people who can work in several types of jobs, including quality analysts, workforce managers, service and sales, IT. I mean, it's amazing. So the building really does represent a lot of hard work that's gone into building this industry. So we're happy to support it.
The opening of this new building is significant. It means growth, it means development for our country, it means providing more jobs for our people. So I think this is a great move and a move in the right direction for us here in Montego Bay and by extension Jamaica.
The building is state-of-the-art, top-notch. Professor Shirley and Gloria Henry really helped Concentrics get a smooth launch in Jamaica, which to date we've built just under 500 seats on the ground floor of this building and a rapid expansion into Kingston. So kind of without the support from them, we would not have been able to expand into Kingston as fast as possible because the facility we got was in top-notch shape. So I think it's a great step.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.
Hey guys, you're right on time for another episode of Chill Spot, where today we'll be venturing to Somerset Falls in Portland to meet up with Tanya Waldron-Gooden, Senior VP of Investment Banking at Mayberry Investments. Tanya has so much to share and Portland is calling my name. So don't go anywhere because this is going to be an episode you won't want to miss. Jamaica is truly a paradise, and Somerset Falls is one of the locations that reminds us of this. We're about to meet up with Tanya, but before we do, here are a few quick facts about her. She's originally from Kingston. She is the eldest of 2 siblings. She's married with a 7-year-old son, and she describes herself as loyal, competitive, and goal-oriented. Her fondest professional memory is moving from a managerial position to a VP position in under 2 years. Now let's go meet up with Tanya. Hi everybody.
Hi, how are you?
Hi Tanya.
Hi, how are you doing?
Nice to meet you, Candy.
This is my husband, Ricardo.
Hi Ricardo. Hi.
Hello, how are you? Mark Graham, Managing Director at Somerset
Hi Mark,
Falls.
nice to meet you. So Tanya, what are we going to be doing today?
I've heard so much about this place. I've heard that it's very relaxing. I'm looking forward to some good company. And most of all, I heard about the boat tour to the Hidden Falls, so I'm hoping to get to.
So we're going to do that?
Yes. Yes.
And some good food.
And some good food, right? You're a foodie.
Of course.
Mark, tell me a little about Somerset Falls and the activities that you can do here.
Sure, there's a ton to do here. You know, apart from the beauty that you see here, you have the opportunity to take the boat tour, as they were talking about, which I think they're going to be very impressed with. To be able to go up and see the falls, we have several falls that are going up through this river, and to the largest of our waterfalls, which is 32 feet tall, and to a hidden cave. We even have seasonal falls that only fall during a certain time, but there's so much more that we, have to offer. Like she said, the rafting that's down on the Daniels River, we have over 90 acres of things that people can do here. We have swimming pools and water slides, and of course the food. Yes. Great drinks, and there's so much more that we have that's coming. Yeah. Once you have water, I'm fine.
You're a water baby.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm definitely looking forward to a nice, relaxing day.
Well, I'm psyched and ready to go. Mark has told me so much wonderful things about this place, and I'm ready to go for a tour.
Let's go for a tour.
All right,
Mark,
enjoy
thank you
yourselves,
so
okay?
much.
Have a great day, okay? Let me know if you need anything. All right.
Coming up, one of the main challenge is people taking you seriously when you have youth. So youth coupled with being a woman, you tend to have to be steadfast.
Right.
Just basically prove yourself. Know what you're about. My motto is always be prepared.
Cash flow and budgeting analysis. A business can be profitable and still run into trouble due to cash flow issues. We can forecast and evaluate your company's financial condition, estimate financing requirements, and track cash flow sources and uses. For more information and to discuss your requirements with one of our experts, please contact us today. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
We have grown from 20 million US to now having 800 million US dollars.
Knowledge, skill, and professionalism. Those are my tools and my armor.
It's a big men don't cry, right? It's a big men don't cry, right?
We were being robbed some $531,000.
I've been angry to the point where I feel like I will get it back.
In this one degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Youth empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
My name is Levon Flynn, and you're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
This property is so gorgeous.
Boy, it's even more gorgeous than I thought it would be.
And that water, I can't wait to get in, although it might be cold.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
River water makes me feel so fresh. You know, the beach kind of make you feel dirty.
Yeah, but
river
it's
water make you feel
relaxing.
nice.
Yeah, make you relax. So Ricardo gone off somewhere. I think he's gone to the bar to have a drink.
Okay.
So we'll meet up with him later.
No problem. Now I want to talk about the professional side of Tanya. Talk to us about your position at Mayberry.
Well, I am the Senior Vice President for Corporate Finance Research and Special Projects, where most of the time we're looking at private and public companies, whether to structure transactions, to raise debt or equity, and basically help companies develop and grow. And that's our main focus.
How did you get started in this industry?
I started at another financial institution actually. I was in pension funds management and portfolio management at first. I was the officer, I was the lower level staff at that time. There wasn't any scope for growth as I saw, so I got an opportunity at Mayberry and I took it. So the opportunity at Mayberry was a management trainee, which I rotated in several departments, and then Mr. Gary Peart started a new unit, which was business development at the time and special projects. So that's how it started. That developed into what is now corporate finance.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about your experience as a part-time lecturer at the University of Technology.
Well, it has been a very fulfilling experience because I get a chance to teach lecture other professionals and basically guide them through the process of portfolio management and investment analysis, because that's one of the main subject areas I lecture. Many of my students are from the banking profession, and as some may take it for granted that being in banking or investment banking rather means that you actually understand money and the way money works, but it's not always the case. So getting that opportunity to basically give them that guidance through the process of analyzing investments, it's pretty fulfilling.
You've had a very successful career in finance. What would you say has contributed to that success?
One of the major factors was guidance and coaching, and that was done mainly by my seniors. So the opportunity presents itself, and then you basically push forward to engage in the opportunity, seizing the opportunity. And one of my motto is, once a door is open for you, you might assess the door, but then eventually you try to go through it. And that's what I've done. So in starting the unit, business development and special projects, that was just analyzing companies, private companies at the time, and then that developed into the junior market, which is, since 2009, we have listed the most junior market companies to date. And I'm happy I've been a part of that. Another accomplishment I would highlight basically is that we got an opportunity to, on the research side of things, because I'm the head of research, we've formed an investment banking team. So research is not just research and regurgitating, but rather looking at structuring things, being the forerunner, making decisions and helping the company to make those decisions.
Now, would you say those are your achievements so far? I know you touched on them a little just now.
At Mayberry, it has been a journey. I started there, as I told you, as management trainee. I got promoted within a year to a manager, then senior
within
manager.
A year?
Yes, within a year.
Congratulations.
No problem. Then to senior management.
Right.
But one of my most memorable moments was when I was promoted to the executive team, which was in 2011, when I was promoted to vice president.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, but now I'm senior vice president of the unit. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
As a young person in that industry, what would you say are your challenges?
I don't know if I must say this. One of the challenges in a man's world is being a woman. Right. Professionalism must be the forefront of your mind. And one of the main challenges is people taking you seriously when you have youth. So youth coupled with being a woman, you tend to have to be steadfast and just basically prove yourself. Know what you're about. Be always prepared. And that's basically it. My motto is always be prepared.
What sort of impact do you hope to have in this industry?
So I'm the business readiness evaluator at the Branson Center, which I do in my, spare time.
So you're part-time because you have a part-time and now it's part of that time.
Yes. So, but basically it's pro bono, where we look at small companies, very small ventures, where we assist them in getting their business pitch decks ready, which another word for a business plan. So my hope for that is to be able to get them ready enough to be able to come to a Mayberry.
Right, okay.
Enough to strengthen that company to raise capital at that level.
Tanya, what sort of advice would you give to your protege or even to a younger you?
A younger me? Have a little more fun in your youth. Do not take yourself so seriously, but however, be prepared. Always be prepared. Always analyze, assess before you move, while having fun if that's possible. But that's the advice I would give. And also, you can't do so without actually teaching somebody else to do it as well. So that is the advice.
After that fabulous tour and this good conversation,
Yes.
I think I'm ready to hit the water.
I agree. I agree. I'm ready for the water.
Coming up, Tanya, what would you say drives you to succeed?
Naturally, I'm competitive. So if you give me something to do, especially if you say I can't do it, I'll push to do it, right? That's innate.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. With GLC, more than meets the eye.
Business recovery and turnaround services. Dodgen Global will assist you to achieve the best possible outcomes for troubled companies, shareholders, and other stakeholders. Organizations can quickly find themselves hovering on the brink of failure. But with the right early intervention and a constructive approach, it can be possible to achieve a sustainable turnaround. We have the expertise to unveil the cause of problems and find solutions. Our team works cooperatively with management and stakeholders to make assessments about ongoing cash flow and working capital needs. We also assist you with new business strategies, divesting non-core business and assets, and the design of new capital structures. Dodgen Global can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global, website https://dodgen.global.
Michelle Chung, CEO and co-founder of Honeybun in Jamaica, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Thank you very much. Thank you. how was your food?
It was great.
Mine was good too.
Yeah, it was
Yours?
nice. It was good.
Now, Tanya, I want to talk a little about your personal side. So let me start with you. How would you describe her?
I'd say that she's very driven. One thing I can say at home, she puts her mind to something, she's always going to get it done. And I see she does that in every aspect of her life. So, a driven person, that's what I see her as.
How would you describe yourself?
Driven, yes, but a lot of times there's a motivation behind it. So a big factor for me is family. And because work is so demanding, it has to be a work-life balance.
Right.
Kind of person I am, I'm naturally an introvert.
Right.
I'd prefer to be in a lab somewhere doing something and not necessarily be out there. But since being at Mayberry, it has taught me that being out there is not necessarily, doesn't necessarily mean that you still can't be who you are.
Right.
Yes.
Essentially. And what about your childhood? How were you raised? Do you have siblings?
Yes, I grew up in a nuclear family. 2 siblings, 1 sister, 1 brother. Both parents were there. School, I started out at Richmond Park Prep, graduated to Holy Child High School, and then went on to university of the West Indies.
Okay, and you guys have one son together. Tell me about him.
William. Very active. Very, very active. He has taught us that, well, we basically don't need another, right? He did not fool us at all. So he's very outgoing. He's not like us. He swims, he plays karate, but he's very good at swimming. As I said before, nuclear family, 1 sister, 1 brother. Me and my sister were very close. Being introverts, both of us are. We used to listen to music, listen to Cyndi Lauper. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, that was our favorite song. And then when we got older, it was Linkin Park. That was another favorite group of ours. And we read a lot. So it was mostly that.
Right.
My sister, no, she was more of a tomboy than I was. I was a bit of that, but she was like Chinese skip champion, and I was Jack's champion. You know Jack's, right? Yeah. So that was it, basically.
Do you have a fondest childhood memory that you can share with us?
Being selected Jack's champion in prep school. Yes, it was memorable. It was the first thing I ever won, and it was good. It was a real competition.
Okay, so how did you guys meet now?
Well, we knew each other for a bit, and then we started working at the same place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess spending a lot of time together at work.
Really cemented the relationship.
The friendship at first, and then...
And then it developed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been married now?
10 years.
10 years?
Yes. Why you look so shocked?
Because you look like 25.
No, I'm 36.
Wow, 10 whole years?
Yeah, we celebrated our anniversary last month.
Congratulations, that's
Thank you.
awesome. How do you balance everything?
Well, basically, with both of us in banking, it's quite difficult, but what we try to do is carve out time for each other, including our son. Basically, with the date nights, maybe once a month. Sometimes we might skip because of busy schedule, but we try to maintain that. And with William now, we try to take him out. Ricardo is avid in terms of bringing him to the park, more outdoors.
As you said, lots of energy, so the best way to get rid of that is to have
Burn it off.
To get rid of it.
Run about.
Yeah, so make him run until he's tired.
And then we capture all of that.
And yeah, because he is into photography, so he captures everything, to my dismay sometimes.
So, I mean, that brings me to my next question. What else do you guys like to do for fun? Photography, and what else?
Primarily photography, and for me, trying to play an instrument.
And he recently bought a guitar.
Oh, wow. And what about you?
I collect music. I'm very much into music. I swim and I read. And I join him in on his musical trials.
Trials, keyword. Tanya, what would you say drives you to succeed?
Naturally, I'm competitive. So if you give me something to do, especially if you say I can't do it, I'll push to do it, right? That's innate. But since William is just being able to I want him to develop that drive. I want him to succeed, because in this world you need that kind of focus in order to do so. So that's basically it. That's my drive.
Well guys, I had the most peaceful and relaxing day here at Somerset Falls. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. It was wonderful.
It was awesome. It was very...
Thanks for sharing it with us too.
Yeah, and it was
so
very...
was it your first time though?
Second attempt, first time.
No,
we came here
you
before, but it was closed,
right.
yes. But yes, we really wanted to enjoy the property.
Well, we did.
Yes, it was what we hoped it would be.
Exploring and enjoying my country is always a fun experience, and today was no different. I had fun here at Somerset Falls in Portland, hanging out with Tanya Waldron-Gooden, Senior VP of Investment Banking at Mayberry Investments. We learned about her 9-to-5 and shared in her awesome chill spot. Until next time, I'm Candy. Bye.
Hi, I'm Tanya. Stop it! I'm laughing. Go again. Stop it.
Hi, good morning, Tanya.
Hi, how are you doing,
Candy?
Candy?
Nice to meet you.
Oh, this is my husband. We totally botched that one, sorry.
Spending time with Tanya Waldron-Gooden, Senior VP of... I can't get it. I don't remember. It's too much words. If you push one more button on the camera, come na man.
Business Advisory. Realize greater growth and profitability. Navigating market changes can be challenging for any business. Our goal is to help you identify opportunities at any stage of your financial life cycle, ensuring you continue to meet your business needs in complex market environments. From startup through to expansion, tax advisory to accounting, Dodge & Global provides a multidisciplinary approach to managing the entirety of your affairs. We ensure your business remains profitable and competitive. You can expect practical advice, effective cost management, and a mutual respect for your goals and growth aspirations. Our commercial advice comes from extensive knowledge and experience working with a broad range of business and industry sectors. Dodge & Global can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global. M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition, or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodge & Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got.
Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look. But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Co-Founder, Honeybun 1982 Limited. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
goes by many names: marijuana, ganja, cannabis, or kush, just to name a few. But whatever you call it, people will immediately know what plant you speak of. The Good Life this week takes you to the Stepping High Ganja Festival in Negril.
You know that Jamaica have a very long history of ganja, long before what people actually popularized today. You know, for example, people argue that ganja came across with Indians and came over as indentured laborers, see? So hence the word of indica and ganja from river Ganges. However, ganja has always been here, so you have to use a different kind of lens. Meaning now, if you review work by like Van Sertima, they came before Columbus. People always coming to the Caribbean long before Columbus, and Jamaica was always a central space. It is a very important navigational space today. And from pirate time, it was also a very important navigational space. That's why we have the first navigational school in Jamaica by the Caribbean Maritime Institute. Now, what's the point I'm making here? The point I'm making is because ganja was such a traded thing across the world. Across the world. And however, it became more recognizable and popular when people started to come here as enslaved persons and also as indentured laborers, because both of those persons were actually using the plant. So there's always an integration with herb and agriculture. But over time, as they start to make herb become more criminal, which means that the state start to lock up people more than the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, you know, the whole thing, it kind of shift. You know, so you find out that while we were still planting herb, we know if we practice some integrated farming, not because we just know that integrated farming is what you should do. We have the integrated farming for hide the herb. So I would have plant herb and I plant gungo peas or I plant okra on it, because if you look from overhead and the herb that the gungo peas and the okra, it don't look so obvious. Now the ganja farmer is the only man in Jamaica who was practicing those things, you know. By what? Out of necessity. So as Rastafari start to use more herb, you have more fight taking place against the herb. So it is a thing where the history has been whereby the farmer structure is anti-herb, not because they're anti-a-plant, but because they're anti-a-mindset. But because Rastafari use a lot of herb now, and herb stimulate certain parts of your brain, and people know that your body is designed with what we call an endocannabinoid system, you know, from your head to your toe. And the parts of your body that have the most of those receptors is what your liver and your brain, especially when part of the rhinoceros and the ancient part of your brain and the central part of your brain as well, the part that deal with this feel-good, esoteric kind of vibes and things, you know what I mean? And that is what drives and supports a lot of the way Rastafari people think. Hence the concept of being airy and the concept of being of one love and being with nature and all those things. That is not the Rasta people alone. The same ancient Indian people who use herb, they don't do the same thing. The people who are Essenes, from which them say Yahusha come from, is the Jesus story. They are herb people. So them say them anoint him head with oil. Him 7th chakra, him crown chakra, is herb them use, is not olive oil them use, it's ganja oil them use. See? All these stories that people hear, ganja oil is a very important part of those processes for health and wellness and healing. So it's like it's just something where Rasta people come up with, like you have what you call a Columbus syndrome, you discover things that already exist. No. The thing is that Rastafari, we are way into this consciousness of this plant and uses it. And then using it also away other people. It's like you unlock your chakras or your DNA, so people start to remember these things and start to use the plant and actually feel a particular way about it. One of the first functions of ganja is to build your immune system against ultraviolet rays. So it means then that ganja is one of the plants that you use to do what? Prevent most of the cancers, if not all of the cancers. So all the researchers show that ganja is good for cancer fighting its functions, such as THC. And they ask themselves, what is the leading killer of people in the world today? It's stress. Herb is a plant, THC in particular, it removes stress. It transforms energy from one negative way into an next positive. That's what it's about. It's not no new energy. You shift you focus and start to see things in a very different kind of way. So you don't see no problem, you know. You see, needs that are unsolved, which means that there are opportunities to solve those needs by doing that, providing a good service. So the lens through which you see things becomes different. And unfortunately, within our own system, we have this big opportunity. But the lens through which we see it is the same old colonial lens. CDB is used to treat things that have to do with psychosis. That research came out of England. Yes? That's why there's a great demand for CDB herb in Europe, because the leading killer of people in Europe and America is now what? Dementia-related illnesses. Parkinson, Alzheimer's. That's M1, CDB, and not THC. You have CBN, which is to stimulate appetite. So people who have cancers and all of these other issues and eating disorders will want the CBN. But it's also good for all the olfactory senses, you know. Ears, nose, and throat. So everything you do with your lung, everything you do with your ears, everything in the nose and the throat, because it what? It opens up a thing. The plant itself, in terms of the seed, have two of the most important fatty acids for your brain, which is called linoleic and linoleic, in the 1-to-3 ratio, the exact ratio in your brain. The only other plant that comes close to that is linseed, which has now 1-to-4 ratio. Most of these problems that people have, the plant is good for it. Ask them which other plant your body is designed to use. You just ask them, which other plant your body developed a system saying 50 million years ago, all beings on the earth develop an endocannabinoid system. Not man alone. Dog, puss, rat, bird, everything. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to really see what the research is saying. What the research is saying. It's good for everything. But it's now, we don't ready to own people's brain now. Especially people who are going to say mad people like Rasta. Or the Rasta by say, okay, herb is the healing of the nation, and herb is this. Or Tosh sing about it as a bush doctor and say, boy, it's good for this, and lawyers smoke it. Remember too, you know? Many places people use herb, and we don't just use ganja. We use different kind of herb. And this is part of the problem, because when them started to fight ganja, technically them started to fight every kind of natural consumption of other herbs as well. So man, have a headache, I don't want no rosemary, I don't want no almond leaf, because it's herbs, and you don't know how much you're going to take and suppose it poison you. And you might take a Fensic, you know. And then give everybody the same prescription, 2 Fensic, but yes, all their structure different. So the same 2 Fensic for solve your problem for everybody. You have something in your stomach that want to clear out, you don't take no verba, no dark blood. You can take a leave. And then them announce by the TV, them have a call him back a leave, catch a killer, beer people are foreign. Foolishness.
Don't go anywhere. The Good Life will be right back.
We go around Jamaica to visit a few of our most historical homes, each with their own little story. Our first stop, let's find out.
Welcome back to The Good Life, where we are exploring the benefits of ganja with Dr. Kadamawe Knife. He shares his knowledge based on extensive research on the plant and some of his opinions on Jamaica's response to the growing worldwide use of ganja.
We now learn that there's a high demand for CBD plants in the world, which is in the Euro-American world. And what we know is that we're focusing so much on that technically we start to make the part that we have the advantage in almost criminal. If you have a lot of Parkinson's and Alzheimer's in Europe, they want CDB in the herb. Now, if you understand the ganja plant, CDB is naturally, it don't occur in plants in a naturally high amount, you know. But it's still an amount that can treat some of those things. What they're doing now is to take the plant into the lab, to create a plant now that have high levels of CDB and low levels of THC. It is the first concern that we have with those kind of herbs and things. Nonetheless, I am saying, if the plant itself can produce pharmaceutical products that can treat those things, well, they can do it. However, know that they must make concurrently, but the thing that not naturally having in the country, but the thing that you try to promote. Jamaica is known internationally for what? Pharmaceuticals? No. We're known internationally for being a wellness space. So if you ask a man, tell me some Jamaican word. All of the word relate to feeling good about yourself. Some man are going to say irie, he might say love. He must say all of these things because the country is known for wellness. And we see where it come from. See, now if you listen to Ed Bartlett test, when them do the assessment of what words trigger people to come to Jamaica. Love, food and music. And can't say ganja tree my minister. So we're not using that opportunity and so we have a win-win scenario where everybody can benefit, whether you are a foreign direct investor or a local person. See, at a macro or a micro level, we turn it into what we call a zero-sum game, which means that if some people are going to win, like the pharmaceutical people, it means that the people who do the things organically going to lose. And that don't make no sense.
When it's green, you squeeze the juice from it, it's the best for eye. It kills all cataract and everything.
Now, I argue that we need to standardize and regularize. It is much more difficult to standardize and regularize things for the pharmaceutical industry than it is for the food industry. And SRC and the Bureau of Standards are some master industries, some master institutions that can help us to standardize these things. See? So when we hear them argue about edibles, I know edibles is this and edibles is that. It shows you how almost backward the people can be. THC is amplified by heat. So therefore, if you cook herb, it magnifies the amount of THC that's within that thing that you eat. So what does that mean? Does that mean that there's a problem in using herb in the plant, in the food? No. It means then we can get a lot more from the same herb than we actually do now. When I say shift focus, when I say broaden your focus and don't be myopic in what you're doing, don't be a copy bugger. And the bigger part of the industry is the wellness part, it's not the pharmaceutical part. That is why we talk about functional food. We're not talking about nutraceuticals alone. Because them still want to make nutraceuticals sound like it's pharmaceuticals. It's like nutraceuticals is taking the active out of a plant, whether it be ganja, ginger, whatever. Functional food is using the actives in things for consumption. Which means then, I can make, and I like to use this example, I can make a chocolate from Highgate, which is a nice brand chocolate, and infuse it with something like a CBN, which is an active in ganja plant. See? Or THC, CBN because it stimulates appetite. So I target people who know they need to eat food but want something nice to take to eat food. People who have AIDS and cancer and anorexia. So you want to eat that chocolate kind, it really tastes good, but when you eat it now, that makes you want to eat other food as well. So again, you have to take a regular tablet. Or use THC with things like rosemary and almond leaf as what? Just as people buy St. John's wort to reduce stress. We use it that way there. Remove all of your stress. You can put it in anything. I can use the same starting from the ganja plant and make incense sticks and create incense. And what is the beauty about this? You can do this at all 3 levels. It's the only plant you can do it at 3 levels now. And Jamaica, you can do it at the community level in terms of branding, the parish level, as well as the national level. Because if you understand ganja in Jamaica, people argue that Sunny Hill in St. Thomas is a place that plant good herb. But a man takes a Green Hill and Orange Hill plant good herb. A man takes a Bull Savannah plant good herb. Or Lucky Valley in St. Andrew plant good herb. Or the best herb usually planted in St. Andrew in the 1980s. So wait I tell you. At different points in time, people say the best herb plant in different places in Jamaica, which means that the best herb plant in Jamaica, there's a people that think we can plant the best herb anywhere in Jamaica. Now, can you imagine the amount of branding that you can take, that you can use across the island? You have to realize what opportunities are. I'm not fighting a pharmaceutical now, but I tell you, look at what we can do with branding. Man is the only animal that cook food and eat. Rastafari is free meditation. Every man have a right to decide their own destiny, man. The person who can tell how to live is yourself. See? So I say, I don't want no food by the fire. Some don't do it. Rastafari says life. And so we find out when you put fire upon the food, you take out some of the life out of it. So you want to get the full life by food, eat it without putting fire upon it. But you still can't tell a man how to live, you know. So I'm going to tell you, watch you know, you stop eating cook food. You still have to work, and the ganja seed is one of the best things to eat. So with I know, it's sativa herb I promote. 6 to 9 months, ital herbs. See, I'm going to take it serious because remember, the whole of my ample design for use herb, you know. So it means that you must put the best thing inside your system. So a long time herb and the plant is the best herb to use. All these things that them come up with, no, it's just like some of the food now. See, so a long time people usually eat free-range chicken, but take long and you put a nail in the pot and cook him. You don't want that now, you want a chicken, which is a baby chicken. But take 6 weeks, I end up with arsenic and all kinds of things, give people fibroids. The same with the herb. Them don't want a 6 to 9 month herb, so them start grow some short day herb, some short breed herb. 8 weeks. Where the man have to alter the seed to increase the amount of THC. Why? Because THC is stimulated by sunlight. So the longer the exposure of the plant in the sunlight is the more THC. So if you want to get the same amount of THC in a shorter period of time, you have to do change the structure of the plant. So indica is not the area plant to use, as far as I'm concerned. If you understand plant science, plants work in a holistic way. When you start to take on separate plants, it becomes less effective. When you steam the herb now, it goes into your lung directly, which means then, when your blood is passing through that vein, that is passes through your lung and it's being oxygenated, it takes up the herb immediately. So it's the fastest way of getting herb inside your system, you know. It's not an injection, because when you get an injection, it don't go in your vein directly, you know. It goes on your skin and tries to find its way into your vein. So the most effective way of getting herb into your system quickly, and another way that is at the least amount of carbon, as far as I'm concerned, is through steaming. But the argument about smoking herb can kill a problem. No man, that's just something which is just false information. THC actually builds back the wall of your lung, repair the wall of your lung. So the concern about smoking can't that you're going to get sick from smoking herb. Just that the concern you say, okay, you don't want to put no more carbon inside of your system, which you don't need to. And so I ask people if you smoke a spliff every day, see? And how much spliff a day you smoke? I'm going to say 2 spliff or 3 spliff a day. But that's 365 times 2. That's almost 700 piece of paper you smoke for the year. So you really don't need to be smoking no paper. But you know some people make hemp, Rizla. So all those things are there. Now, some people say the carbon might be the concern. My other concern about smoking is that it is not economical. Because when you go and light a spliff or light a chalice, most of the herb gone in the ear and less gone inside of you. So we don't smoke no herb, we just steam the herb. See, and there's not no magic we are doing, you know. A long time people do it, man, it's like when you bake pudding and put the fire up on top of it, see? So you have something that separates the fire from the herb, and when you pull it, the heat from it passes through the herb, it cools down the water and condenses. It's aromatherapy. You can use it with any plant you want. Now, that is more efficient. There's almost 0 carbon, because anything that comes through is captured in the water. This is what a long time bingy man them usually do, you know. Now, when you eat herb, it goes on your digestive system and takes a longer time to start to break down, but it stays longer in your system now. Okay, it starts to release more slowly. That's why when people cook herb and it's in your gut for a long while, it release slowly, so you feel that kind of feeling for a much longer period of time. You know, say a man who smoke herb don't like smoke herb in a public space. Him like going down space, him have him create him own space. And naturally we know that. We don't want no cigarette smoking, we don't want no jerk pan smoking, we don't want no car smoking, and we don't want no herb smoking in no public space. Because people respond different to those things and things still, see? So, we don't want no designated smoking area either. Yeah, we don't want that. I mean, because the attempt says that, say, if you think that smoking is bad, why you designate place for them to smoke? You've been a hypocrite. Go find somewhere by yourself. Go smoke if you want. Don't create a nuisance for people. And things still, you see it? In a private space, you do what you want to do.
Don't go anywhere. The Good Life will be right back.
Dodge & Global Marketing Strategy Consulting. Marketing isn't a department, it's a system. Having an integrated and cohesive marketing plan allows each marketing technique to support the others, thereby creating a synergy of branding and growth for your business. Dodge & Global can assist you in making smart decisions with lasting value in regard to the following key decisions. Determine if there is a paying market for your products and services. Craft long-term and short-term marketing goals. Define marketing campaigns. Create marketing strategies. Select powerful marketing techniques to reach your audience. Choose a brand and image that reflects your core message. Design marketing materials. Design internet marketing strategies. Track marketing results to determine the strongest techniques. because it's so important to create an integrated marketing strategy that will bring in business. Get advice and mentoring from people who are already successful marketing experts. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to The Good Life. We wrap things up with Dr. Kadamawe Knife as he shares his concerns with the current state of the industry and gives his final thoughts on what he believes could promote and grow the industry in Jamaica and, by extension, the Caribbean.
I will argue that imported bad food and lifestyle practices kill more people in Jamaica than gunshot. Less than 3,000 people dead last year from gunshot. And in 2016, more than 15,000 people dead from diabetes alone. 15,000 people, I mean, I talk high blood pressure and heart disease yet. I mean, there's no big strategy as to how we are going to halt that. But do appreciate some of some of the things I say, boy, drink more water and less sugar, because way. So I see them talk some things. But I say, it's all there was a big strategy to fight crime and lack of people. But there's no big strategy now to fight down the crime and now we are killing people, which is through food. Now the point we're making though is that if we start to do ganja as agriculture and use it now as a catalyst, we start getting people starting with ganja with health and wellness and agriculture that kind of way, you start to address not only economic issues but health issues as well. Because if you are plant food and plant clean food, the people must get less sick. Must. We should say, okay, our focus on building out what we have, which is and them disrespectful, I call it recreational. We have the wellness part of the industry, in the ganja industry. And we're going to expand it to facilitate the pharmaceutical component. So those who want to do the pharmaceuticals can do it, but we are going to focus our money and energy on the wellness component. So you're trying to take a lead in an area that you can't lead in, while neglecting the area that you already lead in. I'm telling you, any guy who come to this space will have a song right as a bonus spliff. Right as with the same cool breeze we are disturbing interview with. It's a one of the best experience. So bonus spliff and then go buy food from the people might eat. I tell you, I'm going to tell him grandpa about that story. You know. Say about telling grandpa to take a ganja tablet. That's just a story. There's medication they're taking, man. Enough name out there here. Them like to categorize them as skunk and kush. We have about 20 different skunk names or 20 different kush names. What we want to grow is a particular strain of herb, which is a sativa. So you have the broad categories of sativa and indica. We are promoting sativa herb, the 6 to 9 months herb. Ital, that means you don't put anything on it that come from animal, it's plant alone grow it. That's how to promote it. See? Now, Jamaica should have things like them called goat shit and lamb's bread and all different kind of herbs that are sativa herb as well, thyme herb. But those were destroyed in the 70s. Some seeds still exist, so we focus on getting those seeds. Now, nowadays, you have all kind of skunk herb because the license itself is prohibitive and shows that they don't really understand what they want to move. Because the licensing process is required because they're doing what? Pharmaceutical ganja. I've been doing pharmaceutical ganja because of the regulations for production. You have to get all of these things in place. So that is for one section of the economy. Now the part that we're speaking about the wellness doesn't require those things. So we'll argue. There's how we have a man with a bar who says that he might get the license at whatever. The same thing I do with the herb people who are involved in these kind of things at the community level. But I think it's important to regularize it. Someone, the man within the community knows him have the best herbs that sell. I'm putting them jar and him, you know, make it iron and official. But no while like it's a hide thing in the pan and then it's a hustling. No. Make people know it's free for do it so you can do it properly, man. Because you know Jamaican people like to present them things properly to you know. So don't make it look like it's a gym screechy thing. Give them the same kind of freedom. But say what you know, you have to have them standard there, you know. You can't sell the herb in a plastic bag because the herb eat up in the plastic bag, put in a glass jars. And put in a dark glass jar because it make your herb stay long and you know, show them how to do it properly and things. Now when you check it now, 10,000 for your distribution of what? 10,000 US, you know, not 10,000 Jamaican. The prices are not even quoted in Jamaica and quoted in the US, so it's can't be a target. So there's a different kind of thinking surrounding that component. And that's what I'm saying with the dual space. You have to have your pharmaceutical space, you put those restrictions here. But the wellness part that relates to Jamaica, you don't put those restrictions, but you put standards and quality control. So who knows if you have an edible, we know the Bureau of Standard passed and SRC every the formulation, and you know say, all right, you have the right amount of things inside there. Get rather the strength now for coming through the marketing and them home economics thing, for come show them how to do the thing using the standards. You know? Make it happen properly. Herb, like we call high altitude and long exposure to sunlight. Jamaica have over 10 hours of sunlight, we have high altitude with a volcanic space. Remember, we call it volcanic because it means we have a lot more minerals in our earth than places that are not volcanic. Because when you have volcano, we do carry precious minerals from the core come up to the surface. So it's just good earth we have now. We have enough gold and diamond in Jamaica, enough crystals because we're volcanic. It means that because we have the high altitude and long exposure, our ganja, once it is exposed to the sun, it's going to be much, much better. But across the Caribbean, while they might not be like Jamaica, but you have places that can do similar things. St. Lucia, which is mountainous. Dominica, which is mountainous. Haiti, which was mountainous, would have been good places to plant. Perfect highs of THC. Montserrat might be good to plant. Definitely good to plant herb with high THC because it's also mountainous and also have good exposure to sunlight. Barbados, Cayman, Antigua, which are flat places, might be better to actually plant herb to get seed as food or get fiber. Now they could have plant hemp though, you know. That's what I mean because them flats of them THC level not gonna be too high. A place like Guyana, Belize, Suriname can look at planting the industrial plant which is hemp. So the mountainous places plant the female and the flat places plant the semi-male female and the mainland places plant the male which is a hemp. So the region itself can control the entire value chain of the industry from both male and female. The Caribbean. Well, remember that Jamaica is in the Caribbean, because Jamaica is the only real Caribbean country. We know the center of the Caribbean is a certain level of magnetism in the earth, and the earth is electrical and magnetic, it's bioelectrical and magnetic. So you can't underplay the importance of those magnetic currents that surround the earth with all those things happening and things still. So you see, I'm not on ganja alone. I mean, all our food, the food levels, the taste, it's like it accentuates. And you know, the research that actually showed that Jamaica have higher levels of heavy metal in them earth though, which was a concern. But we realized that when we put in the water, the heavy metal dissipates. This is not a problem anymore. So remember, this is a good life now. It's important for people know that you only have one life to live. See? So you have to live healthy. Do the thing that you know is right. Be serious about it, man. Live well and live the good life, you know?
Takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry.
The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald-White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.